Welcome to Creator Upload, your creator economy podcast. I'm Lauren Schniver.
And I'm Joshua Cohen. Lauren.
Yes.
I want to introduce one of our favorite pastimes.
Wait. Oh, I'm so excited.
Do you know what it is?
I hope it's somehow me like berating you or something like that. I have to imagine it's
That's your favorite pastime. I know
or
it's more
is it the
our
part where
favorite pastimes.
Is it the part where what did you were at some party and somebody was like, "Hey, who's that girl in the closet?" What did they say?
I was at one of my kids' friends' birthday parties this past weekend.
Sure.
And one of the moms at the birthday parties was like, "I always love your posts on LinkedIn. What's that girl doing in the closet?"
What'd you say? Were you just like, I don't know. It's her shtick.
I was like, yeah, that's she loves it. She loves it there if it makes her feel safe.
Yeah, no, totally. What? No, sorry. Is there another pastime that we enjoyed?
It's when I send you a link and then you tell me what you're looking at.
I can't believe this VO3 thing can do dialogue now.
Ah! A talking muffin!
Okay. I see that. Go on.
So, Lauren, do you know what that is?
I mean, it's an AI generated thing that's doing talking.
Do you know what's kind of amazing about this?
Tell me.
The talking part.
Why?
And the ambient noise of the oven in the background.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Oh my God, this is fascinating.
Why is it so great?
You haven't realized every other AI video you've
weren't
looked
here
at?
when Read AI was here, so like this, you gotta like, there's a lot more that I need to impress me.
But every other AI prompt video you've seen has just been footage. There's been no audio whatsoever.
That's not true. But go on.
Because Reed did the video?
Yeah. We had an entire fucking episode with like a video.
Any other AI prompt aside from Read AI that you've seen?
So to the listeners of Creator Upload, what you're noticing right now is Josh doesn't listen to our podcast nor watch it. And in fact, I was like, you have to watch it.
I do, but it doesn't really count. The Read AI doesn't really count.
Okay.
It counts, but it doesn't count.
Sure.
In any other AI tool where a user can prompt the AI to generate an image or video or whatever else, mass market, let's say, you couldn't do any type of audio until now with Google's VO3 model. So they announced it at Google I/O, which just concluded this week, which is Google's huge, big event where they talk about what's going to happen in the future, all these new cool products they're offering and coming out with, what's going to happen to search, whatever, their big moonshot ideas and more. And they debuted VO3 there. VO2 came out late last year. VO3's out now. And it's easier to prompt and can generate video and sound together, including dialogue. It's also better at understanding longer prompts and correctly handling a succession of events in your prompt. That's according to The Verge. This just ushers in a whole new realm of creativity, of production,
so what you're saying,
cute little types of video clips.
People other than Reed Hoffman.
Yes.
Sorry, Hoffman? I always get Hastings and Hoffman confused. I always think I'm saying
Everybody
the wrong
does. Everybody does. Reed Hoffman.
It's really not right. It's like Reed is an unusual name, and then the Reed and the H. It's and they're both found. It's too much. Anyway, so if you're not Reed Hoffman, essentially, or working with him, you can do this. Is what you're saying. I mean, that's the big innovation here.
Yes, totally. So this is from Ellie Collins, Google DeepMind product vice president, who said in the blog earlier this week, VO3 excels from text and image prompting to real-world physics and accurate lip syncing. The video audio AI tool, it's available to U.S. subscribers of Google's new $249.99 per month Ultra subscription plan, which is geared towards these hardcore AI enthusiasts.
Don't you feel like that's one of those things where like the first like flat screen TV was like $9 million.
Yes.
Now that sounds insane. And this like you can buy like that exact thing that's way better for $200 at Costco. And this is now going to be like.
I think what'll happen is this $249.99 tier will always be like the latest, greatest stuff. And then you have a lower tier where you can get whatever the best version used to be.
Right. But like, these prices are going to just go way down.
And what's more though, Lauren, is Google just didn't unveil this. They also unveiled Flow, which is a filmmaking tool that allows users to create basically cinematic videos by describing locations, shots, style preferences, and more. And then they can use that interface to also stitch together different scenes of whatever they're envisioning. So really creating the tools and kind of the production interface to make a lot of potentially really compelling content here. I mean, it's the future.
Yeah, no.
You're not more excited about this?
I mean, I'm just like, I feel like it's very impressive, but it also like it's one of those things that like unless I feel like it's most impressive when you're creating it. Because like I'm watching a video of like, a muffin talking. Like you're talking to the girl that produced the Annoying Orange pilot 15 years ago. Like ain't the first time I've seen talking food. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yep. Okay.
I mean, can we just agree that that's, so like true story, look it up, Annoying Orange pilot. So, so I think that like seeing it, the execution is very cool. I think that, but like actually doing it, I probably would be way more like, oh my God, I just did this in like a minute. That's cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I also just think though, it's interesting to think about in the future AI race to supremacy and dominance. You have these major players that are rising to the top right now, including Google, Meta, OpenAI, Perplexity, and probably a few more. But when it comes to video, there's clearly going to be one that's going to be able to dominate the others just because of the sheer volume of video data they have access to. And that's Facebook a little bit, but it's definitely Google. Because there's 500 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute now. They stopped actually releasing that statistic a couple of years ago, I think just because it got to be such a crazy high number. And yes, I think you could talk about creators being reticent to let Google be trained on their data in the future. And maybe some creators are going to be so vocal that Google is going to change its policy and it's going to make it so you can have protections on YouTube around which of your content can be used by AI models to train and which can't. But the vast majority of people that are uploading those videos to YouTube are not individuals that really care nor know that their data could potentially be trained by these AI models.
Right. No, I think that's 100%
like
right.
97, 95% or something, probably, maybe more.
Yeah.
And so they have near infinite amounts of video footage that they can train these models on.
Yeah.
From all over the world, too.
I mean, I think that might have been an Annoying Orange trained model right there. Just saying, circling back right there. Just saying.
So I think like if people are just looking at search and how OpenAI is taking some of Google's market share in search, if you think of the future as more video based, no one has a better data set and model to train on than Google. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
It will be very interesting to see how it shakes out and how people use it. Okay, let's get into some big stories. What is crazy about this week and the year of our Lord 2025 is that you would think it would be the year of our Lord 2021-ish because there's been a lot of announcements around and acquisitions and whatnot in the sort of creator economy in a sort of rapid succession in the way that like it had sort of happened really fast and a ton of activity in 2021. So speaking of AI, I think one of the biggest sort of announcements was Promise lands a Google investment and partnership. So what is Promise? It is a generative AI studio started by Dave Clark, who's an AI artist, George Trompolis, who is a longtime creator economy kind of figure. He famously was one of the, if not the people at YouTube to start the partner program and then went on to create and then ultimately sell Fullscreen, which was a really big MCN back in the day. And then Jamie Byrne, who was like a legend at YouTube for 20 plus years there before Google acquired YouTube. He's very he's got a very distinct appearance that it's like he's legendary. I'll let you guys Google it. And he was there forever as like the global head creator. So the three of them created this startup that's, for all intents and purposes, and I have a friend working there. It's, and a lot of folks say this stuff. It's like the Pixar of, right? So it's the idea is that it's a movie studio, but they're using generative AI to, as they say, not replace tradition, but expanding it. And they're using people every step of the way to create this content. They said it very many times in this sort of promo video that they're doing around the content that they're producing, but it's really cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of like a Pixar in terms of how they're going to use technology to enhance the movie making. So they got this investment, not disclosed how much it is, from Google's AI Future Fund. The partnership is sort of multi-pronged, and they're going to be incorporating some of Google's technology into Promise's new platform called Muse. So it's a sort of 360 holistic, what the kids would call it, a strategic partnership. So it's not just about the investment, but it's about what each can bring to the other's party.
It's really interesting how Promise is trying to straddle this line around AI generation and human creativity.
Uh-huh.
And they want to play in the Hollywood world, and they want to create the types of cinematic programming that could be released in theaters across the nation within several years from now. But they have to straddle this line because they don't want to upset too much of the Hollywood establishment. They want to actually work with them and kind of open their eyes and show them the light.
No, I tell you, this promo video had like 3 or 4 different sort of versions of like, we're not replacing humans, we're enhancing them. It's not, humans are being used every step of the way. Like that was only a couple of them. They're very much trying to toe that line of like reassuring us that it's going to be okay, which I think that we all, I feel like, what is it? Doth protest too much? I mean, I think we all know what's really happening here.
Right. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be one AI hit show. Like right now, it's all talking muffins and other fun stuff. But I think there's going to be the first really big AI hit program that people are going to like weep at, cry from, laugh at, pay money to go see in a major way. Then it's just like floodgates are open, all bets are off afterwards. But until that happens, people are going to try to uphold the status quo and what's been human-led creativity for the past few millennia. But I mean, like, new entrepreneurs and new filmmakers are also going to want to follow the money. And if there's money in this AI box office potentially in the future, that's where they're going to go.
It's interesting. I was just listening to an interview with David Leitch, who is the director of Deadpool 2, amongst many, many things. And he was on a Smartless podcast, and he was just talking about, he started off as a stunt performer is where he started and sort of grew his career from there. And they were talking a lot about like a lot of the stunt sort of work that isn't done anymore. Like it's very, there is some people still go on fire, but a lot of times like not, just like there's so much stuff that's been replaced. And so this is not what I'm trying to say is this is not a new phenomenon. I mean, we can talk about CGI and like all the other things. It's just the speed at which you need a lot of artists and the speed at which you're going to be able to do that kind of work is, I think, going to just be infinitely, just faster. Much faster to do that kind of work. But it's not like technology. I mean, like, what's his name? Jon Favreau, who directs, of course, the famous actor that was in Swingers, and but then became a really big director, directed all the Iron Man movies. And he is like very big on the technology. I've listened to some interviews with him. So I think this is going to get actually people like that really super excited because they're going to be able to do more. And perhaps we're going to see, like, if I'm going to be optimistic, like I think right now, you don't see, there's not as many movies being made because it's the money is just like, it's not there. I was just to go on a tangent for a minute, I was reading this article about a buddy just got laid off, and he does VFX for a lot of like SVU and that kind of stuff. And he was working on these 2 other Dick Wolf shows. So the guy who created Law and Order, and it was these FBI shows. I never watched them. And if you look, and like they were the biggest rated shows on CBS. Like for the last couple of years, they got canceled because there's no money to produce them. They can't afford it. And so it's like, it's so sad. So content is just like going to go away because there's no money to produce it. And so I think you could look at this in a way where like, maybe this will be a way to do the content we want cheaper ultimately, because it won't employ as many humans. Negative, but positives, we'll get to see more. And so I don't know, like we'll see what happens.
Lauren, just to double click on that too, there's a recent report that came out that said there were 116 fewer original shows from streaming platforms in 2024 compared to 2022. Yes, the writer's strike may have something to do with it. The actor's strike may have something to do with that.
No, I mean,
the pandemic might have had something to do with the 2022
digital,
numbers. Yeah, totally. It's all this money coming into digital. And just one more note on the Google investment into Promise. I think they're doing it for 2 reasons. One, because they think they can make some money on it, just like any other investment. And 2, Promise could be a really good acquisition target for them, especially if they're able to build out this workflow muse that they have that can be a production tool that Google could then potentially acquire in the future and then release to the masses.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Mark Benioff, co-founder of Salesforce, Shopify, and producer Neil H. Moritz have invested in Whalar. They've not disclosed how much they've invested, but it came out to a $400 million valuation. Whalar, of course, is a creator agency. They've got several prongs to their business. So they've got a talent management. They've got the IRL space, the Lighthouse, where we actually did a podcast from there one time. They've got this operating system called Foam. They have a brand building studio called Moby Ventures and a virtual experience builder called Umi Game. This valuation is very big. And to be honest, some people are like a little bit shocked by it because there's so many prongs in the business. So everybody's been thinking about how this really all comes together. And there's been a lot of talk about that in the industry. I think the lighthouse of it all, it's an amazing space. It's beautiful. I don't understand how they're going to make real money off of that space because it's like the most prime expensive real estate in all of Los Angeles County. It's crazy, but that's not the only one they're going to do. But these guys are coming in and doing a major investment. So very excited about that.
Lauren, I hear you on the lighthouse where it seems like it's going to be hard to recoup some of that investment. But I was also skeptical when they first announced they were going to do this too, because we've both been in the industry for a while. We've seen lots of companies come and go that said they want to create like a Soho house for creators, or they want to create courses, or they want to create classes, bring creators together in IRL spaces and make them better creators. They're going to go off and have very fruitful, successful careers. And we're going to pocket some money along the way from giving them courses, a place to come and congregate, other opportunities, and more. And I think maybe we're at a moment in time where we've just hit a critical mass where there's enough of these types of individuals that really want to become creators that it can sustain a really cool, bougie school for them or club that they can go to and meet other people that they have a shared interest in of being content creators of the future. And I also think what one of the other benefits Lighthouse has is a ton of brand partnerships and connections. For the influencer marketing business, it does. So it can also leverage those brand partnerships, upsell them on being part of the Lighthouse or being like the official camera partner of the Lighthouse, hosting events at the Lighthouse and more, because those brands also want to get in front of the future generation of creators. So I think it could actually really work here.
Well, that's certainly, I think, as I understand how they're trying to really capitalize. Yes, you have to pay, because of course the most famous version of the sort of Lighthouse V1 is the YouTube Spaces, which you didn't have to pay to go to. YouTube sort of built these giant spaces in major cities like London, Tokyo, and LA. And they were around for a long time, but then they didn't make a lot of sense because it was this weird time when they were like, we're going to teach creators how to like make TV shows. And so they were like camera classes on like red cameras. And there was like I'll never forget, there was the whole like control room. Like you'd see it like the Today Show. And I remember walking in being like, oh, what the hell? Who's going to use this? You know what I mean?
There
and
were
like
crazy.
It was crazy. I mean, I shot a few things there. It was nuts. And it was just like, they shut down during COVID and it was a marketing thing for them. But the idea was there. It was created to inspire collaborations and that sort of stuff. And so it's not that it didn't work, but it was just kind of, I think it was a little bit wrong place, wrong time. It was like, we didn't really quite know what this industry was. So, Lighthouse is charging people to be a member of this place. From what I've seen, it's mostly like industry executives that are doing it and that are members, but then they have a lot of really cool events that they are getting sponsorships for, and that's how they're going to. So they're actually thinking about monetizing it, is my point, versus the YouTube Spaces, which we're not thinking about monetizing that specifically. Okay, I want to move on really quickly. So Creator Ventures, a fund started by Caspar, who was a British creator, actually South African, but he's based in the UK, that has raised $45 million. So Caspar is great. I've known him for a long time. Was talking to him a while ago about another company he co-founded, but he's really come out of the gate doing some really interesting investments. 11 Labs, an AI audio company now valued at over $3.3 billion, was a part of the Creator Ventures Fund 1. Unilever acquired Wild, which was a Creator Ventures-backed company. Runa exited to exercise tracking app called Strava. These are all companies that they were in early stage investors in. So this is their new fund with a second fund worth $45 million. And this is double their first fund at $20 million. So very cool. I'm really interested in what they've got going on. I've seen a few of their companies, like I said, that they've invested in and it's partly co-founded in the past. And very cool to see this. And again, is it 2021? I don't know. I don't know what the day is.
So yeah, this is cool for them. And they have a decent track record so far, investing early, like you said, in 11 Labs. Also Beehive, they were early on in. The newsletter platform from Tyler Dink that's just crushing it. It makes sense too, because Caspar's built up this influencer marketing agency that again is working with a lot of creators, a lot of brands. People see this ecosystem as the future of media, marketing, and entertainment. And he's a really good vantage point from which to look on those industries and a bunch more. And people know he has some dough too, so he's getting really good, interesting deal flow. And he has this insight where he can kind of stick his finger up in the air and know which way the wind is blowing. And so I'm excited to see what other bets he makes in the future.
Well, you meant deal flow is like ultimately like really what can make or break you. And if you have already the sort of rep that you are investing, in, and it's hard because he's getting thrown everything, but he's getting things first, which is really can make the huge difference in the sort of how a fund is successful. And the truth is, what I know about venture is like, it's not even about your first fund. So they raised $20 million the first fund. Great. It's about how you do in that first fund, and then can you actually raise any more money? And so what they have done, that's the success. It's like, okay, you raised your 20 million, great. Let's see if you can do anything with it. And they did. And so now they raised over double that. So it's really exciting. I'm excited to see what they invest in, and want to get some of that deal flow and some of that money. And then one more I definitely want to talk about is Captivate. So the Publicis Group, which recently acquired influential influencer marketing platform, has also acquired Captivate, an influencer marketing technology platform. It's sort of eventually trying to establish its position in this space, which is these are two very sort of prominent companies. Ryan Dietrich, who was the founder of Influential, says, as two leaders in the influencer marketing space, together we bring unrivaled expertise, innovation, and transformation for our clients. We're excited to collaborate with Krishna and Sunil, co-founders of Captivate, to co-author The Future of Global Influencer Marketing at Publicis. So yeah, again, big week in the space.
So what's going on here too is, if you squint, both these companies look alike. But if you dive into the details, Influential is more of an influencer marketing agency. Captivate is more of an influencer marketing platform. Mm-hmm. But they both kind of do everything. The thing with these big media holding companies too is they just want to acquire as much revenues as possible and then figure out ways to get all of the agencies under their umbrella to make as much more money as they can. So they want to give them the tools in order to do that. I used to be really confused by this because there's like 3 or 4 big media holding companies in the world. And under one media holding company, there will often be several agencies that could be competing for the same brand. And that always struck me as kind of confusing because they all have the same parent company. Why are they competing over these same brands and these same dollars? But the point of these holding companies is just the idea that overall the businesses in this sector are going to go up in value. So they want to make as many bets as they can on smart companies that they think will increase in value and increase in revenues. And that's why there are these big media holding companies, because it's basically a bet on the sector at large. And Publicis is now making a big bet that influencer marketing is going to be the future. You know who I'd really love to be right now? Like the Whalers of the world, the Creator IQs of the world, these other big influencer marketing agencies and platforms. Because Publicis now has 2 of these major players in this ecosystem. All these other big holding companies have to come up with their own version of this, I think, to compete in the future. So they want to look at companies like Whalar, like Creator IQ, or specifically Whalar and Creator IQ as acquisition targets. This isn't the last time we're going to hear about a big media holding co.
Well, first of all, there's a ton of consolidation.
Companies.
There's a ton of consolidation going on in the market right now. I think because of everything we're talking about, the media dollars going from one place to another. And so everybody's got to figure out their move here. So, you even have the Googles of the world investing in the AI startups as opposed to just doing it totally on their own. And so everybody's just figuring out how to consolidate and to just get their piece of the pie. Very exciting. I'm finding it's a very optimistic moment. Again, I think that there's been just, ever since sort of things kind of slowed down in terms of investing and all this sort of stuff, it's been a little bit just like, oh, is this a flash in the pan? And it's like, no, it's here. And now these are some really interesting strategic kind of things that are happening right now. All right, let's get to uploads and downloads. And this is an in-between for me. So Instagram is offering creators up to $20,000 to bring people to the app. This is from Business Insider. The program is called Referrals. Invite-own limited test pays US-based creators when people visit Instagram or sign up for a new Instagram account from links shared by the creator. I'm not mad at it. It just seems a little thirsty, but also and the bigger problem I have with it is just, is this sustainable? So my problem with short-term monetization solutions is they're not really sustainable. But at the same time, so apparently you can be able to earn $100 for every eligible new user who signs up for an Instagram account. Other creators can earn $100 for every 1,000 eligible visits to the Instagram app. And, honestly, pay these people. I'm not mad at it. Pay them. But I just don't know if this is in terms of a long-term solution for Instagram, if this is going to make a difference. But maybe we'll see.
How have you seen programs like this pan out before?
That usually they stop and then creators get pissed because they end up like I mean, I guess let me take that back. I don't know that I've ever seen, while I was there, kind of like I saw a lot of post this much, we will pay you, right? So like that sort of stuff. I don't know that I've seen effectively like an affiliate marketing tool for the platforms. I've not seen that before because growth was not an issue when I was there. You know what I mean? Like this is effectively like growth has slowed down or churn is happening more. So it wasn't really an issue when I was there. But I've seen a lot of backlash from programs that like pay a ton of money out and then they kind of just stop. So people start, they all of a sudden they can afford something and then they can't in terms of their content. So, you think this is effectively like affiliate marketing. And so with this kind of payout, they've got to be targeting kind of lower tier kind of creators or just I have to imagine there's like nobody's doing this for $100 at like, the big creators. So I don't know. It's interesting. And I think you can only get up to like, it sounds like $20,000. So like for big creators, that's not that much money.
They've obviously done some calculus here on how much they think they're going to have to outlay and how big these creators can potentially get.
They don't really know. Think they've
that's
done
what I was
so
going
much
to ask
calculus.
you. They don't really know, right?
No.
And there's probably not a lot of analysis on like, okay, let's incentivize people to join the platform. And then how long after we incentivize them to join the platform do they end up staying on? What's the value of that creator? How much money are they generating for us? How many other creators are they bringing in and more? It'd be nice to have that data, but they probably don't have it, right?
Definitely not. I mean, they it's not like they have zero, but they don't actually know how this is going to work. You know what I mean? And if there's anything I know that like, seems to be true is that they're probably paying less than they should be. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
Here's another upload and download, straddling the line, doing a lot of that in this installment. Cenat, who announced a few weeks ago through an amazing Hogwarts Harry Potter inspired video, his Streamer University, where he opened up a submission form for 150 students that he would eventually take. Thousands, tens of thousands applied to become part of this Streamer University he's hosting, all paid out of his own pocket, all because he just thinks it would be cool to educate new streamers on how to become better streamers and stars in this world. And he's saying in some pretty emphatic terms that after this round, he is not doing this again. He said, quote, "I'm never doing this fucking shit again. No matter which direction I go, no matter which way I try to make sure things is good, I always get the bad end of the stick. My bank statements is fucking ridiculous behind this shit. Nobody's paying a dime to be in this shit."
Wow.
Yeah, he's not too pleased.
Wow.
It's crazy what the internet will do to some people. I mean, he's just trying to do this cool thing for this new class of creators, and everyone has an opinion on it. Which
It's
honestly,
so hard.
he should be used to, right?
Right. I was just going to say, it's so hard because like, this is what he built his whole career on, everybody having an opinion about everything. And it's great when it's working great, but it sucks when it's not, and it's like, it's also just like I don't know, the internet is like, I believe it is a part of life, but it is not real life and it is not the totality of real life. And so the people that probably could benefit, there's so many people that could benefit from this. And if you but there's probably such a barrage and, an ability for people to just force their opinions on something that could potentially be good that makes people so frustrated. And it's just, I don't know. Take a break from the internet sometimes, people, even though this is all about the internet. I don't know.
It's tough when you're streaming 8+ hours a day, but yeah.
It's not easy. I would not recommend it. One other upload I want to mention, Samsung has introduced Samsung Television Network, STN, a new free ad-supported streaming TV fast channel available exclusively on Samsung TV+. Curated lineup of live sports, music, movies, and late night programming. They're going to have personalities like Letterman, Conan O'Brien, and big shows. And they're also they've made some deals with creators, including Dhar, Mann, and Mark Rober. Dhar, Mann, of course, known for his uplifting content. A lot of folks from my former company are sort of there now, so I know a lot about what's going on there. It's very exciting. And, it's no details about how they're monetizing, but it's an ad-supported platform. So we would imagine they're getting a decent split. And who knows, maybe there's something up front. I have a feeling they're probably going to end up doing some original content with these folks. So very cool. I think we're going to see more of these kinds of deals happening as well.
Do you think our kids, because they've had basically unlimited selection to choice with some with a few parental restrictions. But basically, they can choose whatever they want to watch at any given time.
Correct.
That they're going to dig fast
your
channels.
Kids. Your
Yeah,
kids.
this is certainly my kids.
Your kids especially can watch literally anything. Go on.
Are they going to dig fast channels? Are they going to be like, what is this? Are they going to think it's novel? Are they just thinking that it's going to be another way to consume things?
It's funny. So my kids, I think I mentioned this before. So my kids don't watch commercials really, right? Because they don't have to. When do they watch commercials? When we go to grandma and grandpa's house, or if we're like in a hotel and they just turn on the TV, and they don't necessarily hate it because they make the commercials pretty fun now. What they are, because they're not used to it, is so gullible to whatever's being sold to them. So granted, they're usually on like some Nickelodeon or something like that, and they're being sold like some candy or some and like my kids literally like, Mom, this is like, we have to get this. Like, this is the most amazing thing. So they just, because they're so not used to it, and they don't differentiate really between the show and the commercial. So it's just like a different relationship with the commercials, I think, because they're sort of more enjoyable, but they're not, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's more like about that. So I don't think that they're going to, I don't know. I don't think they're going to care that much because ultimately there's going to be so many fast channels. There's enough choice that I don't think it's, what I think that is already the truth is obviously there's no difference to them between like creator and actor and this and that. And like, they're just it's all one and the same.
If your kids need any tips on media literacy, they can totally contact my kids. They'll tell you all about what to buy and not to buy based on commercials.
Yeah, no, see, I don't give my kids like the ability to do that. Okay, we're going to just.
And now we're seeing the downside of it. My kids might be a little more media literate. Your kids might be a little more well-adjusted to outside world.
Okay.
We'll see what pans out. It's a longitudinal study.
This is going to be a little experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know who what is it called? The one that the control, isn't that it?
We'll find somebody else.
Okay. Anyway. All right, Josh, I think we did it.
Lauren, I think that's it. I'll see you making your own claymation video, just frame by frame, human only, about how you are going to open your own streamer university.
Oh, absolutely.
After Kai's is done.
Oh, yeah.
Not there next week on Creator Upload. Today's show was produced by Lauren Schnipper, Joshua Cohen, that's me, and Adam Connor. It's edited by Adam Connor too. Original music is by London Bridge. You can check him out on Instagram at London Bridge Music. Make sure you subscribe to Creator Upload right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts as well, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. While you're there, give us a rating and leave us a comment. If you want to talk, hit us up at info@creatorupload.com. If you like our show, recommend it to a friend. If you love it, just tell everyone. Thanks for listening to Creator Upload, and we will be back next week.